To another edition. It's Florida Talk Real Estate. We got you for the next 2 hours of infotainment. July 18, live on a Saturday. Thanks for being out there so much. I see you. 92.1, 101.7. When I say see, you know what I'm talking about. Appreciate you being out there on the old terrestrial radio. Maybe you're using the free download, the iHeartRadio app. That's big time because we are worldwide if that's the case. And thank you very much for making that a part of your Saturday morning. Quite possibly, I believe. Are we live streaming? Yes, no? Yeah? Well, give it you find out. How about that? You find out. Cameras are all set up. All the action is taking place in the studio. You can see if it's live streaming on Facebook. Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. Florida Talk Real Estate LLC. That's on YouTube. Home of a ton of informational chunk videos. And I think Jimothy's live streaming on OnlyFans. We'll find out here in a second. Thank you very much for being with us always. And of course, if you have questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, if you'd like to be involved with the conversation at hand, don't be shy. Dial in 877-927-6969. The toll-free number will be answered by the melodious tones of our producer extraordinaire. There he is, Jimothy. Are you live streaming on OnlyFans?
No, actually Grindr.
Oh, no, you switched the platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or
yeah,
you just add the platform?
Well, I figure, you go where the meat is.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you gotta,
Yeah.
gotta cast out the biggest net.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Good for you, my friend.
You got it.
Nice. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Happy Saturday.
And happy Saturday to you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate all your efforts always.
Thank you.
Johnny C, that's me, your old buddy, your old pal. Let's get air traffic control going here. That's my job. You know what I'm saying? Let's wave in your very important people on a Saturday. Like MIke Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. What's up, Mike? How are you?
Good morning. I feel interesting. I mean, we are live streaming.
We
so
are.
all of that you were just talking about just went out there.
Yeah, well,
out into the world,
right,
to the universe. Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you knew anybody was listening. You guys might have thought you were having a private conversation.
No,
This was on?
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh,
We're gonna start the show soon, right? I mean,
he doesn't do OnlyFans. He's got OnlyFan.
yeah, myself.
He's got all these shadow accounts.
I got one.
Doesn't tip. Nothing.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. People are in defeat.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We are live.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Let's say good morning to AJ Hollman as well. He's with experienceappraisers.com and with us on a Saturday. How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing good.
It's been a while.
Can't complain.
Yeah, good.
Nice little day out there. I'm not out in the sun.
Not yet.
All things are pluses, right?
It's been a brutal week.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. It's hot and it's not even humid yet.
I'm bringing 2 or 3 shirts on the road when I go out for a day of appraisals.
Yeah, because you don't want to be showing up like you just
it looks like I got a Titanic, It's covered in salt and water.
I love it. Yeah. Florida. It's good. And wait till the humidity kicks in.
I mean,
That's
it
my
is the
favorite
middle
part.
of July.
Yeah.
We're not. You're not surprised over there, are you?
Not at all.
No, I've had a few seasons here now.
Yeah. Couple few.
That's why he has 3 shirts. He knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
He's not learning his way through this.
That's just before 9 a.m.
Exactly. I'm going to circle back.
You
around.
don't have like a moisture wicking uniform?
I've tried many things, but
Yeah.
I find that just changing my shirt is probably the best.
Okay. Yeah.
Just go for the change.
Easy.
Yeah.
Like forget about all this new technology.
Yeah,
Weird fabrics.
It's still wet on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You just can't see it so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that
kind of the point too.
new technology is amazing. It feels good.
Yeah.
Keeps you cool.
I've never found a real solution that doesn't. I don't suffer AJ's problem, which is just soaking through the fabric very quickly.
Well, you're fine.
I've tried. I do sometimes wear 2 shirts, but it's just brutal. If you wear a shirt under it, it makes you look okay, but you're dying.
Well, it's hot. I had somebody. They're like, it's so hot. I was like, oh, I haven't been out today.
Yeah, is it? I'll have to step out and find out.
Let me check it out. It's beautiful this morning.
Let's say good morning to our fearless leader. 14 plus years now. I've told you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team, the Florida Home Pros, Keller Williams Innovations. There's Jimmy D. Jim DePola. How you be?
Hey everyone, happy South Florida today. Hope everybody's doing well.
Good to see you, man.
Yep, it's good to see you. I was thinking
Why do you sound? Is it my headphones?
No, it's got to into the mic. Yeah,
is it
just generally direct your voice into the microphone.
not away from it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds distant.
Who'd have
As long as everybody else here is good.
I was thinking the hottest day I've been this year was not here. It was in Vegas at 109 degrees.
That's good.
It was 109.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had a
but there's
hotter-
been-
I was in Phoenix. My brother used to live in the Phoenix area.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I forget what time of the year it was, but it was definitely hot. It was like 115, but no humidity. So, it's the dry heat. John.
That's
Exactly.
right.
The dry heat.
When you get up to that temperature, that it doesn't matter about humidity anymore.
Yeah.
right?
When you're like breathing and it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your
It
lungs
hurts your
get filled with
lungs. Yeah,
heat.
yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So
Sauna.
hopefully it won't be that bad today, but we'll see. Kevin from Lakeland is saying it's 80 degrees right now where he is.
Nice.
We're in the 90s already by now, right? Or we're probably in the high 80s right now.
I don't
Let's
know.
check.
Where's he? Alaska?
Lakeland.
It's in Lakeland.
It's in Lakeland.
Yeah.
My phone says 82.
Oh, only 82? Okay.
Yeah, when he said 80, I was like, I don't know. It feels about probably what it
Yeah.
is out there. Just
Mhm.
walked in.
And
not long ago.
newsflash, it looks like it might rain this afternoon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Shocking.
You never know in Florida.
Play for that a
Never
little
know.
bit.
We have a lot to talk about today. One of the things I wanted to talk about, which we haven't talked about in a long time, are Zestimates.
Ooh.
Right? Remember what those are? Those are what Zillow thinks your property is worth.
Right.
Back when we first started out, when Rob was on the show a long, long time ago, we used to make so much fun of Zestimates all the time
Sure.
because they were so wildly inaccurate.
I didn't even realize Zillow was still really a power player still. I guess they are, huh?
Zillow is the number one search engine in the
Still.
United States by
Still.
far.
Wow.
By far. Yeah.
For houses.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you should hear more than one appraiser get together and start telling Zillow jokes.
Yeah. Zillow stories. Yeah. Exactly.
Can I hear one? I just want one Zillow. Well, maybe not Zillow. Leave their name out, AJ, but let's hear the best joke.
Yeah, call him Willow.
Can we come back to that one?
Yeah,
the-
come back,
the
come
thing-
back.
Yeah,
You can't
when we
put
have
me on
this
the spot
segment-
like that.
When we
Yeah.
have this segment,
How
we'll
many
figure it
Zillow
out.
search engines does it take?
It does matter. The reason why I brought it up is I haven't thought about the Zillow estimates in a long time, estimates, but there are people out there that are so freaked out by their estimates that they're actually turning to their local property appraisers to get numbers changed because they're worried that the Zestimate is what the property appraiser is using
Are they trying to
their
sell?
information on. Some of these people were not. They just didn't like that their number on Zillow was different than what they felt the property was worth, and they
Okay.
want it changed.
It's like watching a war movie and thinking that you just went into battle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Exactly.
not.
Right. It isn't the same. It isn't real.
That's interesting. It's an interesting reaction. I want to look at what Zillow thinks my house is worth and then freak out over it. It's kind
Yeah,
of
isn't
weird.
that crazy?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about interest rates, just because we haven't in a long time, Mike, and they did go up a little bit this week, but we're at the upper level of where it's been in a little while, not too much, but we're going to take a little look at that. But we're also going to look at the inflation report. The inflation report came out, the most recent one. It was a little surprising in good news way. If you believe the stats, our inflation is going down again. Now, this was before, I was going to say this is before the war started again. Is that the way I should say it? I don't even know how to say it because
I don't believe
this
there is a
report
war.
was before the escalation or the breaking of the MOU or whatever. So gas has spiked up a lot. So we think that these reports are going to change. But right now it was kind of little breath of fresh air for a whole 15 minutes.
I know, and that's what. So it's kind of like the same mindset as the Zestimate affecting like your reaction. Like
That's
to
a
me, to
good
be like
point.
inflation's down, be like, whew,
Wow, that was a
Yeah.
close
man,
one.
thank goodness. It's a similar thing. Like, no, it's
It
not.
is in a way,
It's
yeah.
not. You spend any money or go anywhere ever. It's not. But similar mindset.
It-
Oh, that's an interesting point. You're right.
yeah, exactly. That's kind of interesting. And the other thing, hold on. Oh, here's something that we're going to talk about a little later. We're going to talk about two other things. DSCR loans, Mike. We're going to talk a little bit about how they're different than regular loans and what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is doing a DSCR loan and for a deal with a buyer. They had their own mortgage broker,
Mhm.
wouldn't come over, but
And what was that loan
it didn't
again?
appraise out. It did not appraise out. What does DSCR stand for?
Debt service. So let me try.
Debt
Debt
service.
service coverage ratio.
Debt service coverage ratio. I never remember that. I know what
Just
it
think
means.
debt service.
Debt service.
And then
yeah.
you're probably
Yeah.
you could fill in Cristiano Ronaldo,
And is this the loan we talked about this last week, I believe, 2 weeks ago? Is this the loan where as long as the income you can make off the property covers it's not necessarily like your credit score, it's the credit score of the property's earning and income? Is it kind of way
I would have never explained it that way. When I'm curious who explained it like
it's
that.
the way I consumed it, though. Doesn't mean it was explained.
I mean, you want to get into it later?
Yeah, we'll get into it a little later.
Is it that loan though?
Yes, it is the loan that you use. It's an investment. It's an investment vehicle for people to get a little bit lower down payment, a better interest rate. I think better interest rate. By not doing a traditional appraisal, but doing it through the rental rates.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
I guess I must have never explained this to you.
I don't believe you were
where
here.
You guys are coming up with this.
This is how I learned it.
So we got.
Well, we're making our own new company. You've heard of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae?
Yeah.
But now it's Jimmy Mac.
So far we got DSCR loan.
Jimmy Mac has this loan.
Johnny says it's there's some sort of credit rating on the house.
Well,
And
like
then-
how it
performs.
The revenue you can make from it.
Yeah.
And rental.
But credit, you said.
Well,
which
that's
is
I
interesting.
guess it wasn't the way that it was kind of laid out is not necessarily your credit score.
And then what did you just say, Jim? You said
That it depends on the rental rate.
Yeah. How much-
I think
loan will
interest rate
depend
would
on
be
the
a little
rental rate
better.
versus-
He said lower down payment and better interest rate.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
than a traditional.
Got some work to
than
do.
a
I can't wait to
traditional-
watch you defend all those
Yeah,
things.
let's do.
So
we're
I
all-
think you have that available, Mike.
We're all going to learn about the DSCR loan together. It is a very, it could be very useful to people, the loan. And we've done a couple of them just recently.
Yeah.
We closed them. So obviously we knew something what we were doing
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they closed.
Yeah, you knew how to give him Mike's number.
Exactly. I was just thinking of Paul and Anna, right? They had just done one recently, right?
No.
Paul and Anna didn't do one?
No.
Oh, they were going to do one, right?
So they did buy an investment property.
Yeah, but they didn't do the DSCR.
Oh no,
I'm pretty sure they did.
No.
No.
DSCR. As a matter of fact, no, they did not buy an investment property. They bought a primary residence.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
But they were
That's right.
they were thinking about, and his business is that type of
Right.
like his general business. No,
Right. I forgot that it was being it for a homestead. I forgot about that.
Yep.
I have to give them a call. It's been enough time where
See
they
how
should
they're
have
doing.
moved back. Yeah, they were moving in from Oregon. But we're going to talk about all that, and the other thing we're going to talk about DSCR loan. Inheriting a home. There was some kind of YouTube influencer person, young kid, took care of their father. He lived in a 55 and over community. The father passed, unfortunately.
That sucks.
The daughter got the place. She continued to live there. Now the HOA is trying to evict her out of the place.
Because she's not 55.
Right, and she's raised in holy heck and back, making it sound like my father let me inherit this property. I have the right to be here. Really? Not so much. We're going to talk about that a little bit, just because a lot of people, I've had a lot of people that have inherited 55 and over properties and they aren't sure what to do with it. AJ's dealing with appraisals for estates all the time now. So I'm sure that you meet people that are in this situation.
Yeah, I got an interesting thing that's going on too. Remind me, I'll tell you about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit. But let's start off with a little bit of shout outs first. Wanted to do a shout out to Paul. Paul came to us, I think it was only 3 weeks ago. Actually, he was a little longer than 3 weeks. So I think we put the house on the market 3 weeks ago. It's a townhome in Sandalwood Lakes in West Palm. Sandalwood Lakes is a community. Do you know which developer, AJ? Because you've been around
They're
here.
usually
it was
DeVosta.
Berger and DeVosta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berger and DeVosta were developers. I don't even know if they're still around. DeVosta is. But I don't
DeVosta
know if
is,
Berg
but
is Berg and DeVosta.
I mean, that was back in mostly in the 80s, right?
Yep, 80s.
I remember seeing one in Fort Myers too when I lived over there, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's the same exact."
Look at that.
These are
fourplex.
and people will know when we talk about it. It's the fourplexes that each one has a little courtyard, a fenced courtyard, usually concrete patio, and then you have usually a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath unit with little balconies off of each bedroom on the upstairs, overlooking the courtyard patio.
And some of them have 3 bedrooms, right?
Yeah,
Once in a while,
with
you
one
can get a
downstairs,
3. Yeah,
right?
once in a while, you can squeeze in a third. And those units are really good opportunities for first-time home buyers. To me, those are the ones that if you can't afford the single-family home, these communities are always great. They have lower HOAs. Usually, the roof is taken care of by the community, um, and the communities are usually very walkable and close to schools and everything. They really plan these developments out nicely. They're not gated. They're not a gated community, but most of these are not. But really good units. And Paul came to me because it was time for him to sell his unit. And I'm sorry, I'm looking it up while I'm talking to you. He was looking to sell his unit, and he actually needed to sell it relatively fast because he had to move from West Palm to Boynton. Um, he came to me because the next door neighbor sold his house through us, and we sold it, I think, in 5 or 9 days, and we got the full list price on it.
Nice.
Now that is very unusual in this community. A lot of these units are on the market 90 days, 120 days,
there's
150
a
days.
ton of them in there. That is fast because there's always 10, 15 for sale, whatever.
Mhm. There's always that many in these type of communities. So it becomes pick your color, pick your price, I call it. So you can go in there as a buyer and you can figure out, what's the best deal out of all these. And he needed to sell fast, and that was a big thing. But he also had a financial need where we just couldn't throw it on any number and just see what happens. So we had to really pick a correct number based on his condition of his home and the location in the neighborhood. And we did that, and we sold ours, went under contract in 15 days.
Right.
So
Great
we
job.
got 98.3% of the list price. I got to be honest with you, I was a little bummed out because I thought we should have got 100%. And I'm not trying to be cocky about this, but the unit that I just had sold 3 months earlier closed for 5,000 more than what we listed this unit for, and it was in, I would say, inferior condition to this one, so I felt like we could have got the full, but we still got 98.3%. So it was a debate of should I wait longer for another offer that may not come right away,
Right.
or do I take the offer that I got now that's 98.3%.
And it's meeting my timeline that I really want.
Mhm.
Well, that's the thing, the market exposure time, the difference between 2 weeks and 2 months, you'll get the right buyer eventually, but how long can you wait?
Yeah, and then you're paying the HOA, the utilities, the mortgage on it. You're doing all that stuff, and there's no guarantee that if you walk away from the offer that you got now, that you're going to get one in a timely manner that's going to be equal to or better than what
Yeah.
you got on the table.
That's right.
The old bird in the hand.
Yeah, so it became a tough one. It was a tough one, but Paul felt very comfortable with the decision he made. We got it all under contract yesterday, so thank you so much, Paul, for trusting us.
Yeah.
Now, did he meet you because you sold a unit in the same quad
Mhm.
zone and he just marked your information, or
It
had you
was
talked
kind
to
of,
him?
yeah, it was kind of funny. So, the neighbors that I sold for, I guess, talked to Paul. Paul's family has owned that unit for over 30 years.
Huh.
He had inherited it from his dad when his dad passed. So he's been there. His whole family's been there for 30 years in this unit. So he really knew the neighborhood well. Um, the neighbors that we sold for the Kellys, they were really spoke highly of me to Paul. Paul was kind of a tough negotiator. He's a wheeler dealer guy, and when I got there, there had to be at least 3 other agents that he already interviewed, and he had all the materials there and everything. One of the agents is really big. They do over like 400 deals a year. Um, I've competed with that agent a lot. Sometimes I win, sometimes I don't with that agent. But after we went through everything, finally, I think the Kellys had said, "What the heck are you even doing?" You know, Jim sold our house in 9 days or whatever and got exactly what we wanted. You know, just, let him do his job. So Paul trusted me and we got it done. We still got to go through the appraisal. I'm not too worried about that. And here's one of the other things that happened. We were on the market 15 days and we probably had about 5 or 6 showings over those 15 days. But everybody said either they liked the unit, but they weren't ready to turn in an offer because they wanted to look at others, pick your color, pick your price, or they felt that the unit wasn't good enough because based on the condition, they felt they needed to put too much into the house to make it ready for them. So I got 2 extremes. Oh, I love it, but I'm not ready to make an offer, or we're not making an offer. We feel like it's overpriced. I knew it wasn't overpriced because we were the second lowest property in that neighborhood. And
Do you know how many active there were?
Yeah, there were 13 at the time.
It's 13 active. Wow, how do you stand
And
out?
only
by
one
price, like,
and
how do you
only
stand
one
out?
pending. And that's a really thing to
Oh.
look at.
Yeah.
When you're looking at what's happening in the neighborhood, you want to see how many active you have and then how many pending. And you want a good ratio there. So if you have 13 active and 1 pending, that's not really good. That means that people are not buying right away in that neighborhood and they're taking their time. And if you had 13 active and 5 pending, that's a pretty good ratio, where that means if you put it on the market, you can have an expectation to sell in a relatively reasonable time. So you really have to look at that ratio. So we bracketed the property, I felt, in the right way. I bracketed based on condition, and I have 3 tiers, and then I figure out what's going on in that neighborhood, and then I try to place our property within the tier that I've created. And that got it done in 15 days. Now, the funny part was the day we were negotiating with this one person for 3 days, and they didn't want to use Hometown Heroes, even though they were a school teacher. They didn't want to use it. But they wanted us to give a huge seller concession back. And I'm like, if you just use the Hometown Heroes, you can get even more. And we don't have to give you anything. You get it from the state. What are you coming to us for? Well, they wouldn't do it. And we went back and forth for like 3 days. Well, on the 3rd day or 4th day, we had 2 showings. And both those showings were very interested in the property. So then we had a little bidding war. So the night before, when we were negotiating with the 3 or 4 days, the seller said, "I'm ready to sign the document. We'll sign it tomorrow." So I let the agent know we're going to be signing the document tomorrow. And then we got 2 offers come in that night. So then we went over them, and one of the offers was superior to the offer that we were going to go into contract with. So I let those people know. They didn't budge on their price. They didn't budge on their price or terms.
They thought you were gaming them last minute.
Maybe they did. And it's always rough when you're on the other side. It's always rough to know if they are gaming you or not, because there are agents. There was that agent I told you, the bigger agent that I beat out on this deal. We had just put an offer in on another property with him, and the house was on the market like 80 something days. So we turned in the offer, and then immediately they came back. We're in a multiple bid situation. Bring your highest and best. And we were like, wait a second. The house has been sitting here for 80 days.
Quite a coincidence.
Yeah, what a coincidence that all of a sudden, now could it happen? It's happened to me, yes. But the chance of it happening are slim. So
did it work?
Our buyers decided to hold tight. And they did not take our offer, but they also didn't take an offer for another 14 days, and they took that offer. So I don't know if they really had another offer, or if they were just, bluffing us. That's always a tough one.
You just never know, though. And I had a very similar situation happen like that a couple of weeks ago, and it was the opposite. We did all of a sudden 3 offers after almost 3 months on market. It happens.
It does happen, and that's what happened with this case. We actually have multiple offers, and we ended up taking the best offer of the 3. And the first people were not happy, but
because you told them you were signing tomorrow.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, but that's true. And the reason why I had done that was because we had been negotiating with that family for 3 or 4 days, and they were almost ready to walk.
You were feeling good. There was like, okay.
No,
we're
it
gonna
wasn't
get it.
necessarily feeling good. I was trying to keep them in play because the negotiations back and forth were so long and drawn out. I felt like they were going to get disgusted and walk away. And then if we didn't have any other offers, we would have been SOL.
Yeah.
Did you get any insight why they didn't want to do Hometown Heroes? I mean, I could think of one reason you wouldn't want to, but
I found out later, but I'm not even sure this was legit because I'm not even sure the agent knew what Hometown Heroes was, but they said the interest rate. They said that they didn't like the interest rate on it and they didn't want to do it because of the interest rate.
interesting.
I thought you got a better rate with Hometown Heroes.
You certainly get it's the lowest of what Florida Housing offers as far as their rates and on their programs, and it's definitely competitive. And I don't know how you're getting too much lower than what they're offering. I think when we talked this week, Jim, the rate was 6.25 for Hometown Heroes with FHA,
which is significantly lower than what you get on the market right now.
Yeah, well, let's call it 6.5. So it's not like huge lower, but yeah. And can you get an FHA rate lower than that? Yes, especially if you have a little money to throw at it. But
You're gonna have.
what was the
PMI
price
then,
point
too.
on this home? 300-ish.
This one was 250.
Okay, so they were getting what 12.5, 5%.
Yep.
Right, is that right? Yeah, 12.5.
Mm-hmm.
And they needed it. It sounds like.
I'm not sure
And
they
the rate-
did. I'm not sure they did because
But they were asking for a seller concession to cover
Yeah.
costs, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure they did
Yeah.
because they did switch the mortgage company. They were with a different mortgage company, and I complained about it.
Mm.
And then the next time when they gave us a pre-approval for the second counter, it was a completely different mortgage company, which actually I know very well because Josh Hollman used to work there. Remember, Josh used to be with Ideal Lending.
Oh yeah.
And it was Ideal Lending, which is a really good company also. Not as good as the mortgage firm, Mike. I don't want you to feel bad. But, very
Sounds
good.
like you're moonlighting. You got DSCRs all over the place. Here we go.
Good Lord.
So,
And shouting out Ideal,
so it was
talking
so-
about your ex-boyfriend, Josh.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah.
Sorry, your ex. Just your ex.
So
He used to be on this show.
He was.
Yeah.
I think Johnny remembers.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Well, he
So-
did Johnny's Loan, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah, I think
The first loan,
original.
when you
Yep,
bought
he
it.
did the original
Yep.
loan. Yep.
Yep.
So anyway, congratulations to Paul. We did get the job done. It was 15 days. He was really hoping for 5, so he actually was disappointed. But 15 days in that market, he should be very happy.
Crushing it.
There are 12 other people that are wishing they had the contract accepted.
Yeah.
Of the other 12 that we were competing with, they all wish they had the deal, but we got it. So,
Right.
and we did it because the seller listened to the advice I was giving them, and I had reasoning behind how we priced it in order to get it done. Now, if he said, "I don't care if my house sells in 6 months from now, I'm okay. I'll stay here until I get what I want," would have handled everything completely differently than what I did with this, because I have to listen to what the seller wants, not just on the price, but also the outcome they need. I need to get it done fast, or I have all the time in the world. And you really have to take all that into consideration. And the other thing you have to do as a realtor, you don't know how many people will say, I can wait forever. And then it takes them 3 weeks to stage a house. You take the photos, you put the house on the market. And then the following Tuesday, it's like, hey, how come my house isn't sold? And I'm like, you told me I had to forever. Not that I want to take forever, but really 5 days. And now you're complaining. If you told me you wanted the house sold in 5 days, we would have
the
structured
problem.
everything differently.
You've got
right?
a reputation, Jim.
Yeah,
That's
so-
the issue.
Yeah.
But a couple good things just out of that one story alone. Number one, Hometown Heroes is back. In case
Yes.
people weren't paying attention, so they refunded. It was $50 million, same as last year. It's specific professions, kind of like your hero professions, your police, your fire, teachers, people who work in childcare. Jim and I looked at if you're working at a childcare facility that's like certified and registered with the state and all of that, you can qualify. So if you got any question about the professions that are allowed, it can be looked up online. Of course, you can reach out. We can talk about it, and it's ready to go. Like they opened it up last week, so it's Hometown Heroes back in action. And the rates right now,
5% of the loan amount, right?
So you can get up to, so it's 5% of the loan amount up to 35,000. So to give you an example, at a $200,000 loan amount, you're getting 10 grand. At 300, you're getting 15, 400. And I'm trying to think, like, why would somebody not want it? It is all these ones through Florida Housing. Most of the DPA programs these days are repayable, meaning they're what I call a silent second, right? They it's a second loan. It stays attached to the home, but it's zero payment required. It's zero interest, so it's not accumulating interest for the years, but it is repayable essentially when the first loan is paid off. And so that may be one of those things that would people think about and say, well, wait a second, do I really want this? It's going to impact when I can refinance. It's going to impact my proceeds when I sell. Maybe I want to move out of this home a year from now and keep it as an investment. That it would be repayable then. But if you need the money, it's a zero interest loan with no like structured repayment. Of course, you can always repay it, Johnny. You could pay it off. If I gave myself a 5-year plan to repay it, I could do that.
Great.
But you don't have to. So, great program. Probably one of the best ones out there.
It is probably the only thing I can think of why you wouldn't do it, though.
Just you don't want the money attached.
I don't want it attached.
Or if you're definitely like got plans to make an investment property,
Fair.
relatively soon. Because the minute, I don't know how they monitor this, but when you don't live there as your home, it's not your primary home anymore, then that second becomes repayable.
That's when it
That could be the one that could catch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we use that program so many years now.
But if you're gonna do if you're gonna get it as an investment property,
DSCR
loan would be probably a better
one of the
investment,
options.
But you can't use Hometown Heroes as a DSCR.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't use any.
Cannot
All
use
the DPA programs are for primary residents.
For primary.
Yes. Now, just to remind me, because I forget, do you have to be a first-time home buyer with the Hometown Heroes or no?
So you can't have owned a primary home in the past 3 years.
Oh, it's just
So
like
technically, the
yes.
rule for first-time home buyer means you haven't owned your home in the last 3 years.
a primary,
Across the board, that's the rule.
right?
So they just apply that rule.
Okay, I wasn't.
And I'd say,
sure.
yeah, primary is a good
Yeah.
because let's say that I owned a home with my brother. He's lived there for the past 3 years. I haven't lived there. That's not my primary. I would still be
even
a
though
first-time
you own the
home
home.
buyer. Yeah.
Right. So that's
There was
really
one other
important.
thing out of that story. So Hometown Heroes is back. That's good news. The second thing is, I don't know if you're familiar with these types of units, but that's $250,000, 2 or 3 bedroom, townhome essentially with a nice little courtyard. Was it Palm Beach County or was it
Yeah.
in
West
Palm
Palm.
Beach County? So people are, if you're thinking like there's just nothing out there that's for me, that's going to land me at a price like affordability, the affordability crisis, like these homes exist, and sounds like there's good inventory, and they're nice.
Yeah.
Like
the-
Alex
I
was
live-
shopping
Yep.
this past year, and we looked at a bunch of those
Mm-hmm.
and made an offer, I think, on 2 of them that didn't work out, and we ended up somewhere else, a little bit different style, still a townhome, but they were awesome.
They're all over the place. I've lived in at least 5 of those. I've owned 2.
I've lived in 2 of those, one in Delray and one in Green Acres. I've lived in 2 of those before in the past.
Yeah. And I've remodeled a bunch of them. They're very common, and they're up and down the coast. Like I said, they're all the way over to Fort Myers, but there's one within less than a mile of where I live, and I'm not near that other one's the one he's talking about's off North Lake and Village.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a bigger one.
Yep. So also just really super quick shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Loretta. We've been going back and forth for several weeks now about whether Loretta's a senior. She's a recent widow. She really felt overwhelmed living in the place she's living right now. There's a huge membership equity involved in it. She's worried about her future income. So it's time for her to sell. Now, it wasn't an easy process. We got her over to Mike for a good consultation about maybe saving the home, if you will. She's not behind on her payments, but decide, am I going to leave the home or keep the home? We looked at reverse mortgages as a possibility for her. Mike, you decided that it wasn't really a safe bet for her, right?
Yeah, I think it was too tight. She had some things that she needed to accomplish. And so let's just put it this way. Like, if you need the equity position in your home, you need to tap into that one way or the other. So, and it's to fund your life, maybe to consolidate that, whatever it is. But she's got a big piggy bank that's the equity position of her home. And like, how do you get into that? Well, one way is to sell it. right? Then you can get you can maximize the amount of money in that piggy bank. The other one would be to tap into it with some sort of loan. So in her scenario, reverse would have been the ideal loan setup, right? She wanted to live there. She didn't really, it wasn't important to her that her estate inherit this, something worth, a ton of money. But you have to have a certain amount of equity in order to achieve those goals, right? It wasn't just about replacing a mortgage payment. It's also about maybe having some leftovers for debt consolidation or whatever. And so just then the numbers were too tight, and I don't think would have achieved her goal in the long term.
So what we decided was, now that we have that really important information, so she's making the right decision, not just the only decision that she's being offered. Senior, you're dealing with very serious situation. You don't want to make a mistake on this. So this has been a process, I think, about 3 weeks now that we've been going back and forth, but now we have a plan. I'm meeting with her on Monday, and we're going to move forward with that plan of selling the unit and then finding another place for her to move into, which will be great. So thank you.
It's a good illustration of what we are about on this show, which is like, these are big decisions, big moments in your life.
Yeah, they are.
You have to be able to make decisions. In order to make good decisions, Johnny, you need information, right? And you need accurate information, and kind of rely on your professionals to give you various angles. Like we discussed it. I discussed okay, if you did the reverse, it would kind of look like this. If we did something else, it would look like this. If you sold your home and put your money in the bank and then kind of lived off that rent-wise, whatever, it would look like this. So we did a pretty broad discussion, and I think landed at what you guys are doing now.
So just to show you, every deal is like a snowflake. Every situation is like a snowflake. And sometimes there's no deal. It's stay in the house. That's the best for you.
Sometimes that is the answer.
And that's okay.
You know what we're going to do right now? Nothing.
And that's okay. And that's
Jim,
okay with us too.
Instead of saying, let's list it, let's do it, he said, you know what, that's definitely an option. Why don't you talk to Mike and see if that makes the most sense for you?
Right.
Right. Which could be an outcome where he's not listing the home, not selling the home, not buying a home, not doing anything.
But I would be feeling really good about it because we're doing what is the right thing for Loretta.
That's right.
So that's what it's all about. And also, besides Loretta, there's somebody else, and I'm forgetting. I'm having a hard time with this.
Did you talk about the one closing for Jim?
Yes, I did. I did the shout out last week.
I missed that. Okay, all right.
I did the shout out to Jimmy D. Jimmy D, shout out. Thank you for trusting the team.
Yeah, I asked if you made a video.
Technically, you're a first-time home buyer too.
Now I'm I was a first-time home buyer because I haven't owned for 3 years. So thank you so much. I did shout out to Mike and Ross and Trident Title for doing everything that they did on this, and I really appreciate it.
I don't know if we got the video yet of him getting his keys, but hopefully one.
Did you get that?
I have the keys, but I don't have the mailbox key yet. I have no mailbox to my house.
No, but did you get a video of it?
No, I didn't.
So we'll get it with we'll do a video of the mailbox opening.
Nice.
Right?
Exactly.
Jim got his first mail. Actually, we could do a whole series on the junk mail. What kind of junk mail do you get after you buy a house? And then we'll do it every week. Jim will pull out 30 items of junk mail.
Well, I know, right? It's exactly. And the other thing is I just got, and I'm not trying to brag about this, I'm just saying it's available out there. I got a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath with a
3.5 bathrooms?
Yeah, 3.5, believe it or not. Each bedroom has its own bath, and then there's a half bath. And then I have a garage and my own private pool in a townhouse.
The half baths are when people like you show
townhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your bathroom,
right?
That's your bathroom.
Sounds like you need some roommates, Jim. How are you going to do with those extra bedrooms?
Well, one's going to be a guest room, and the other one is going to be my studio,
Office.
my podcast studio. Okay. That we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm looking forward to that. But
Jimmy's backyard.
And it was all we were able to get all of that done for about $100,000 less than if I were to get a single family home with a pool. And let's say I moved to Palm Beach Gardens, which I really wanted to do, but my second choice probably would have been Royal Palm, Wellington area, probably. And I would have paid about $100,000 more to have the single family home.
And you wouldn't have had, you probably would have maybe had 2 baths.
Yeah, I probably only had 2 baths, right? You're going to make fun of my baths now. But the thing is that the unit was not too big. It isn't like some ginormous thing or anything, but it's absolutely perfect for a single person. But it was funny. My mom was with one of her friends who has been talking to me about maybe selling something in Boca for a long time now. And when my mom mentioned what I got, she was like, how are you able to even find a deal like that? A 3-bedroom townhouse with a garage and a pool, and you got it for that
You tell them
price?
that you know a good
No
real
guy.
estate
And
agent.
it's like so what I'm saying is there are deals out there. I got this one probably 8% below, maybe 7%, 8% below market value on it compared to what other things have sold over there. And it was in decent condition and everything. It wasn't perfect, it was decent condition, but there are things out there. And the reason why I bought it now is I might be wrong about this, but I'm betting that interest rates are going to get higher, not lower in over the next 6 months.
Well, if
So-
inflation numbers keep getting better.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at all that, I decided it was a good time to go ahead and buy and not wait any
And
longer.
you have been like a passive shopper
I've been looking
like
for
2 years
years. I
now,
know,
right?
it's been
Like
a long time.
couple years.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple. This is actually shout out. I see your shirt today, Perry CPA. So shout out to JP because Jarrett Perry was involved and had to be involved. Jim Cantos, he's like, I finally found it.
I haven't done anything for
Mike,
my
do
taxes
you
yet.
remember what my income looked like? And I'm like, well, I do remember, Jim, but I know that we were waiting to file your returns. So Jim made the mistake of getting into contract before we had his income dialed in.
Yeah, we didn't
So
do
then-
anything right. We did
No
it
pressure.
fast backwards.
So then we're
Thank
talking
you.
to Jarrett. Jarrett's like, wait, what now? We're doing this again? No, but Jarrett's for real this time. Like, put on the countdown, the timer. Like we got to get, and then Jim goes to on vacation. And it's like, and then
Yeah.
what? We still got to hit a close date, right? So
Yeah, and I can't
Gotta
thank
get Gene.
Jared. I
we had
can't thank
DPA.
Jared
We had to
enough.
switch out of DPA.
And
Yeah,
I
there's a
heard-
whole thing.
And
Bought a
I heard
car.
that you and Jared, there was a letter involved sometime, and Jared and you were arguing over the letter.
Jared is one of those strict, and I could see this a lot with CPAs when it comes to signing something. They're very nervous about like what's repercussions if, like, let's say for example, you do a loan and then the CPA puts something in there that corroborates some piece of information. Like, yeah, I confirmed that this is the case. Jim's been self-employed for whatever, and then he can use small businesses. If you're using money from your business account, there's a little bit of thing there. So it's like, yeah, you can use that. So it's a distribution of income, something like that, right? So CPAs get squirrely when you say, okay, write the letter and sign it. We're going to put it in the file. And they're like, well, what happens when if Jim stops paying his mortgage and then it gets defaulted, and then they come back to me and I don't know what to tell them in that case. Like, hopefully that doesn't happen, but I doubt anything could ever come back to you. Like but we massaged the wording where he was comfortable.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. So it was skin of our teeth. I kept saying, Mike, including 24 hours before we were closing, Mike, are we really going to close? Right?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't mad at anybody. I knew that I was doing everything ass backwards, and and I was really skinning my teeth. I was like, wow, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let's give it a shot. So overall, it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Very happy. Still overwhelmed because I'm still in the process of moving and getting all that stuff done. But that's
Great job, on it,
yeah,
team.
that's a good thing. So thank you, everybody. And thank you for doing everything you did in order to do it, because I couldn't have done it without you for sure.
Any more shout outs?
Let's see. I think we're done for
If
the
you need a
shout-outs right now.
team to
Yes,
accomplish
thank you.
what you're trying to accomplish, always remember FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. A team of pros, experts in their field, and they do work cohesively together. That's right. Pick up the phone, get the information they need. That's a beautiful thing. If you're buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. If you're at the skin of your teeth because, well, you have no taxes in play, you don't have any ducks in the row, and you're like, I found the home, I need to close on this thing. Sound familiar? You might have just heard the story. Well, if you have a great team around you, you can make the miracles happen. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, on Facebook, on YouTube. Share and like. Thank you. You can change lives, including your very own, with the pros of FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's go. I always love doing this, so it's out. Remember when I used to oh wait, I have to get the right one. Here it is. Okay. So the CPI, Consumer Price Index, just came out, right? And I love CNBC because they have this chart and they break down different types of products that are bought and sold, and whether the inflation went up or down on the products themselves. So I'd like to talk about that. But before we do that, what was a little surprising about the June report is that the consumer price index rose 3.5% in June from a year earlier. And Johnny, when we say, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. So when they say it's 3.5 or 4.2% or 2.8%, that's year over year from the same time a year ago.
Right.
So it's June 2025 comparatively. So we're up 3.5% right now in June of this year compared to June of last year. Now, the last several reports, I think the last two reports, we were in the fours, like 4.2, 4.1%. So the fact that we're seeing inflation growing slower than it did over the last couple months, that's the real news here. It isn't that 3.5% is extremely low or something like that. It's just that compared to the last couple months, our growth has slowed down a lot.
So prices were up 3.5%
compared to June of last
June.
year. Yep. Yes.
But that's less of an increase than we had seen
May to May
in
or
earlier
April to
months.
April.
yeah, like May to May was 4.2%, and April to April was in the fours again. So we're starting to see it go back down again. We're still not where we were when we started off at the beginning of the year, or even the beginning of last year. So we're still seeing that. Now, yeah, just to give you an idea, like January, we were at 2.4% year over year increase, right? So even 3.5, we're still pretty high compared to January. Now, a lot of that is food and energy. So where are we seeing increases and decreases? So I'm going to ask you if it's up or down. Like, is inflation up or is it deflation? Are we seeing prices go down?
Real quick though, first, Johnny, what do you spend most of your money on? Food and energy?
Posts?
You said most of my money?
Yeah. Your house, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably.
But non-housing. So your food and your energy. Those are like you've if you have to tighten up on your budget, like you tighten up, but you're still buying food and you're still paying for energy.
Yeah, you can tighten up the most on the food.
Yeah. Or you
Yeah.
could tighten up on everything else. Like, okay, we're not doing any of this other type of spending,
Entertainment.
but we still gotta eat.
No, entertainment has to happen because you have to take care of your head. Like there's certain medicine you have to have, like
medicine.
mental
Okay.
health
Health,
is
all
the
right.
most important, right? So you can't cut that budget too much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was energy.
Food and energy, pretty big.
We got our
pretty
food
big,
costs down
cost.
pretty good.
Making your own food.
Well, my wife's just diligent. Like if
Yeah.
it's not a BOGO, it's not on the, like she based the menu for the week on what's going to be cheapest
On
at the
sale
grocery
this week.
store, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah, making food. Is that why you're making your salsa?
Well, I
Or
made
hot sauce?
I made this also because we had a great crop of jalapenos this year,
Nice.
and we're getting towards the end of it, and I had enough left, and so I said, you know what, let me just make a little green jalapeno hot sauce.
That's a great
yeah,
choice.
yeah.
I can't wait to try.
But now I
it.
have too much, so I got to give it away.
Give it.
Yeah, I know Johnny's a hot sauce
Yes, please.
connoisseur, so we'll
Please.
see what he thinks.
Can't wait.
So, food at home. Do you think food at home went up or down compared to
Up.
last? Yeah, it's pretty easy. But what do you think percentage wise? So all items were 3.5%. What do you think food at home in general went up?
10%.
Oh, that feels way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
What
4.
about? I was trying to go up with energy prices.
Yeah, I'm in your range. Like
What
3,
about you,
4.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 2.5.
Yeah, 2.7. Jimmy
Ah,
wins.
Jimmy,
There you go.
Right, 2.7. Now, of the food at home, they break it down a little bit. So, which of these had the highest percentage increase for inflation? Cereal and bakery goods, fish and meat, poultry, fish and eggs, or fruits and vegetables?
Meat.
Meat. Okay, so meat was 2.6%. Cereal and food and bakery products was 2.4%, one of the lowest.
And the veg.
And veg and fruits were 5.3%.
There it
That
is.
was it. Fruits and veggies are
Yeah.
going up 5.3%. Now, dairy's only up 0.4%. That's the lowest of the group, is 0.4. Food away from home has increased by 3.4% inflation. Energy, this is the big one. Energy overall, which includes gasoline, electricity, and pipe gas, 15.7% year over year.
See,
But
there's my 10% number. See,
gasoline, 26.7% inflation year over year. Right.
Wow.
So that's why they're saying if you pull that out, that with food, that gives you what your core inflation is supposed
So
to.
if you pull out the worst numbers, they look
if
pretty
you
good.
take the worst of the worst, then everything
Who would have
looks
thought?
better.
Who
Isn't
would
that
have thought that would
amazing?
work out that way?
so
That
core
amazing?
inflation does not include food and energy.
Food and energy are not included. I know
the two
they,
core things that you
and
need.
they say the reason why they do that because that's the most volatile out of all of it.
Sure.
But still, I still think it counts. I don't know why
They've
take
been
it out.
doing that for years.
I know, it is.
It used to be the shopping
Always
cart.
the way.
Because they had the food thing. They would say, okay, here's a shopping cart. Here's 100 miscellaneous items, right?
Mhm.
And I think I have this right. And they started tracking it, decades ago. And then over the years, they'd be like, well, look, we used to have lobster here, but shrimp's kind of like lobster. And maybe we should sub that number and we'll start using this number instead. And this product is going to change the quality of the products.
They used to have lobster in like the everyday weekly shopping cart.
It wasn't
or
every.
monthly?
It was like they had a spread of
And lobster
random
was
grocery
on.
shop. Yeah, I guess maybe they figured one thing out of a week or two that would be your.
Yeah.
They had a wide spread. They wanted a variety.
Wow.
I'm sure
Last time you
butter.
had lobster, Johnny.
Not that long ago.
Well, you got to go by Riggins, man. My
Yeah.
wife works there. Oh, like one day a week.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in so long. Riggins Seafood.
Riggins got such good seafood.
They have good lobster there.
I don't think they have anything bad there.
Is it
it's
Florida
the
lobster
seafood
tail?
and the steak and.
Is it Florida or Maine?
I honestly, I don't usually get the lobster there. I usually get the king crab.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Do they still have the buffet there?
no.
Oh, remember the
No,
buffet?
no.
They used to have a buffet.
I don't even remember it.
Oh, yeah. They used to have a buffet there.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, but this is the seafood market, Riggins Seafood Market.
Yeah.
Check
It's
it out.
Lantana.
Yeah, that's
up
right on
95.
Lantana Road. Yep.
But that's been there forever.
yeah,
I've been going there
forever.
back.
Yeah. That's
Long
an
time.
old Florida. That's an old Florida place. Okay, so all items less food and energy. When you take out the food and energy, so we go from 3.5 to 2.6. 2.6 is kind of actually good
Target.
for the last 8-9 months. That's a pretty good number overall. Okay, so here are some things that went up. I'm going to go over a couple things. Clothes, right? So this is everything besides food and energy. Clothes went up 3.9%. Rent of primary residence. Don't know what that means. 2.8%. Rent of primary.
Yeah. How do you
residence.
rent a primary?
Yeah, I don't get it.
No,
Rent
no.
of
You're
primary.
renting where you live.
Rent where you live.
But how do you rent a non-primary? That's what I want.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I guess there's rentals, vacation homes, and different kinds of. So maybe they break it off
Okay,
and say
okay.
these
Oh,
are only
maybe.
primary
Yeah,
rentals.
that makes
Look at that.
sense.
We're smart over here.
Yeah,
at this,
working
this,
through.
They could have called
table.
it annual. I mean,
Right?
that would have been.
So the rent of
Vacation
primary
rent.
residence only went up 2.8. That's actually pretty good
Yeah.
for months past. New vehicles only went up 0.5%. Used cars and trucks were negative 1.8%. So we're actually seeing less used in trucks.
It doesn't
Prices
surprise me.
going up.
There was a run.
Yeah,
you
'cause it
can-
went
you
up
can
so
see it.
high.
Yeah.
You can see it, and then you can see where they're like basically like, please come buy a truck.
Mhm.
Like we're just like no
Mhm.
money down. What do you can see the ads? You're like, oh, they're struggling a little bit.
And you know why the used cars and trucks are down 1.8%? Because motor vehicle maintenance is up 7%.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
So the motor vehicles, auto repairs are up 7%. Insurance is down 4.1% nationwide. Auto insurance is down 4.1%. That's why you got to use Ross from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach.
Yeah, I
Shop it,
switched
baby.
him. I switched him last month. He hacked a bunch
Yeah.
off of mine. Yeah.
Look at
And
that.
he saved last week, Mike. Ross said that he's already up to, as of last week, 311,000 saved of the
On
500.
his save-o-meter.
Yep, on his Save-O-Meter.
That's right.
So please, if anybody wants an insurance quote and get a discount, you got to give us a call, see if Ross can hook you up.
So he's well on his way, but he's got a long way to go.
He's right on track, actually. If you think about it, 311 in July, that's exactly where you need to be.
Good pacing.
Yep, he's doing it.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a season too much to that, right? It's kind of
No.
random whenever somebody bought their house and renewed or.
Yep. And you don't have to be a client with Ross already. You could just check out your insurance and see if you get a discount.
That's
like
what I
AJ
did. Yeah, that's what I did.
AJ did. Airline fares, this is the biggest increase of everything, 26.5%.
Ow.
Yeah,
that's,
that one
that's in
hurts.
line with the fuel, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That
that would
20,
be.
that was right, almost the same number.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Double.
it was 26.7 for gas and 26.5 for
Yeah,
airlines.
there
Okay.
you go.
Yep. And medical care commodities, I'm not even sure what that means, but it's down 2.1%. I don't know what that
Maybe
is.
that's like needles, for at-home injections and things like that.
That's what I was thinking, because they said medical care services are up 2.9%, alcohol beverages 2%, and tobacco and smoking products 6.5%. So this is from the Labor Bureau statistics. So that's what's going on with inflation. That's very kind of interesting that we're seeing it go down. When you look at the chart and you go back to June 2022, when we were at 9% inflation, June 2022, the chart looks like a downward spiral pretty fast down there.
That's when that was COVID. The ports backed up, and
things didn't really stabilize until like June 2023. And then after that, we started still seeing declines, but very choppy, up and down within a range.
You know what's interesting about that June of 2023? That's pretty much the end of when our significant value increases happened on real estate.
That's true.
It was right between like April, May, June of that year.
Yep. And then things. Now, right now, what's happening, all these reports were based pre-war escalation. So barrel of, I'm not sure which type of crude. I don't know if
Brent
it's Bent or the other kind. But we were in the 60s for the gallons per barrel. And now we're up in the high 80s right now. As of last night, I know we were at 88 or something, and they were expecting to maybe get to 100. So we're going to see inflation come back up again, is what everybody's saying. Hey, enjoy what June is, but July is going to be worse than June, and August will probably be worse than July as far as inflation. Now, that being said, there might be a little silver lining, and based on all these numbers, a lot of the people that are in the administration right now have been saying that once we get out of the war, that inflation would go down and cool out very quickly afterwards. And I was thinking, how is that going to work? But this might be actually a glimpse that it might work, because these stats were based on when we weren't in such, when
wasn't so tense.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
But how long was that, honestly?
What, the blockade or the truce? You're talking about like
I know what you call it, the MOU. I would call it the MOU. I call it the MOM, not the mom, but it's the memorandum of misunderstanding.
That's a good one. Memorandum of misunderstanding.
Mom.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
But how long was that really going, Johnny?
The MOU was only a couple of weeks.
And it fell apart from the beginning, kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know that I ever believed it.
Yeah.
though, so I don't know how
Definitely not.
Well, the only people that believed it were the stock market.
The markets.
Yeah, the market's the only one believe it.
It felt like a manipulation of movement of some monies.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
Movement of market, MOM.
Yeah.
Movement of there you go. There's
Movement of
another
market.
bomb.
Movement of
There you
monies.
go.
well, we'll see if hopefully
When the war ends in 15 years, we can see if it drops off.
Yeah, I'm not hoping
Compare the
15 years.
numbers.
I'm hoping that it happens much faster than that. But we'll just see how it goes. Let's go ahead and take a break. And on the flip side, we're going to continue with a little bit more economics by talking about what's going on with inflation and why I think it's a very good time to buy and to sell right now. And I'm going to give you some reasons why, not just say because. Okay. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to get into a whole Zestimate thing.
No
and
boy.
Find out about
And DSCR.
Zestimates. Yeah. And the DSCR. So we got plenty.
Wow, we do. We got a lot to get
Yep.
into. We're going to be able to cover all this?
Yes. We got a whole hour.
Well, you find out.
We got
This
a whole
one-
hour.
One way for you to find out is to plan on being with us for the next hour. You check them off the checklist. Thank you for being with us every Saturday. We are live on this 18th of July, and you are welcome to join us toll free 877-927-6969. We're going to do a quick 4-minute reset. We'll come back to your phone call. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, believe me, I understand. It's why I lead you to Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook, on YouTube. Lots to consume, share, and like. You can change lives with the pros of Florida Talk Real Estate. And that is .com. Access to the entire team, floridatalkrealestate.com. If you're buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, and you don't know what to do, if anything that you need is in the world of real estate, we got a professional for you. That's right. Just reach out, floridatalkrealestate.com. Even as simply as I want to shop my property insurance. It's that simple. floridatalkrealestate.com. We can get you the answers you need. Know it, use it, love it, share it. floridatalkrealestate.com. 4-minute reset. We're back at it. Thank you for being with us. Saturday, which wouldn't be the same without you, right here on Real Radio.
What's a Real Radio podcast? It's Real Radio on demand. Find your favorite show at realradio921.com. Here's what's happening with the weather on Real Radio.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl with CBS 12 News. It is going to be hot and humid today, but we are below heat advisory criteria, so expect temperatures in the lower 90s and humidity to remain pretty high. Afternoon showers and storms mainly remain west of I-95. We could see a sprinkle or two along the coastline.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. MIke Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, MIke Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, MIke Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
You're listening to Real Radio 92.1, and we are an iHeart radio station. Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yeah, welcome in once again. Dial up if you'd like at 877-927-6969. Be a part of the conversation at hand. If you have a question, comment, concern in the world of real estate, don't be shy. Jimothy will line you up. At least I think I can speak for him. Our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy, my brother. What's up, dude?
Hello, good morning.
Can I assume?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Keep me busy over here.
Yeah, I know you'd like to stay busy, and we appreciate all your efforts always. We is me, Johnny C, your air traffic control. I know MIke Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. I know he appreciates your efforts.
I do. You can put me in the we.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I'm in that.
The collective.
Yeah, the collective. Yeah.
And even better, have a question for Mike to keep him busy as well.
That's years of working out and a healthy diet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the answer. Jim has responded to the group. He says, because Jim will say like hi to the people who are texting us. So Jim goes, "Hey, good morning, Francis, Joyce, ADHD. Enjoy the weekend." So Jim's responding hi to ADHD, one of our listeners.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Why
Just
did you think that's
recognizing-
weird?
Recognizing the arrival.
ADHD.
I love it. It's in the house. Welcome on a Saturday to AJ Hollman with experienceappraisers.com. Great to have you with us on a Saturday. How are you, my friend?
Great to be here. I'm doing great.
I love to have you. And is ADHD in the house with you as well?
Yes, always.
Yes. That's why you fit in so well.
I'm hoping Jim knows what that is.
Do you know what that is?
Does he know what he did? Look at it. I think he might not.
What do you mean? What
He's
are you talking
Googling
about?
over here. Let me look.
I can't concentrate.
Leave me alone.
You said
can't
hi
concentrate.
to one of our texts.
No, I know. I'm joking that I can't
okay.
concentrate.
Oh, I got it. All right.
ADHD.
I got it. Sorry.
It's in the house.
Jeez.
Right.
There's our fearless
Yeah.
leader. I told you for 14 plus years now, he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. It's the Florida Home Pros, Keller Williams Innovations. Jimmy D, Jim DePola, AB.
I don't know about fearless.
How could I doubt it? He knew it.
Oh, fearless.
So yeah. So we're going to talk about DSCR loans. I'm going to finally remember what it stands for because I always forget. I always want to say it's document something, but it isn't. It's debt service coverage ratio, right? Am I
Yes.
right, Mike?
That's right.
Okay. So the way I understand that DSCRs are is that you're not really doing it based on your credit or your credit score and that kind of thing. What you're really basing the loan on is can the mortgage be covered by a reasonable rate, prevailing rate, rental rate in that area for that particular property.
You got part of it right.
Okay, so tell me what I got wrong.
We're kind of there. Like,
Yeah,
is anything
so-
wrong?
You still have to have qualifying credit. So your
Oh.
credit is still important.
Okay.
So let me back up. So the three general questions you're trying to answer with the mortgage approval is number one, do you qualify from a credit perspective? Number two, what payment do you qualify for? Number three, what type of loan are you doing? We're kind of usually like down payment. So it's that middle question where traditionally you qualify for a loan. Like what payment do you qualify for? I usually will calculate that based on a DTI or a debt to income ratio. Why don't they call it a DTIR? I don't know. It's DTI, debt to income ratio. That's how you qualify. What payment do you qualify for? So with the DSCR loan, you're
DSC.
replacing. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no.
We're not DSC, right? So you're replacing DTI with DSCR. Okay, so it's a fancy way of saying, does the rent cover the mortgage? And if the rent covers the mortgage, you qualify for that payment. Okay.
Okay.
So if the mortgage payment is $3,000 and the rent is $3,000, you qualify for that payment. Right? If the rent is $3,000 and the mortgage is, if the mortgage is $3,000 and the rent is $3,200, you qualify.
So
If the mortgage payment is $3,000 and the rent is only $2,800, the rent's not covering the mortgage. You got a problem.
And would I be correct in also thinking that it's the cash throw off, not the gross rent? Or is it the gross rent?
It's 100% of the gross rent.
Okay.
so
So basically, we ask an appraiser. So just the concept is, does the rent cover the mortgage payment? And if the rent covers the mortgage payment, that's it. We're not looking at any of your other debts, not looking at your existing housing obligation. We're not looking at your car payment, your credit cards, like all the stuff that you would normally look at on the D side of the debt to income ratio.
So this is
We're
a
not-
vessel that somebody like, I'll use me as an example. I'm pretty lean in my budget, right? Like I couldn't afford to go buy another home, but as long as my rent covers the mortgage obligation, I could pick up an investment property because of this.
Yeah,
this possible.
So you could always like this is so DSCR is I'll put that into the non-conforming, non-traditional alternative income world, right? So this is not Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loans, not FHA, it's not VA. You're moving into alternative income. And in this case, the income, instead of coming from your W-2 or your pay stubs or your tax returns or whatever it is, it's coming from the rent specifically.
So let's say that I have a home now and I'm paying $3,000 a month for my regular home.
Yeah.
And if I were to do a second home, I really couldn't afford on paper with the DTI to have a second mortgage payment, right? That's out for me.
Yeah.
But I found this awesome $5 million property.
Yep.
And my mortgage payment, I'm making it up. I'm making total numbers here. My mortgage payment is $15,000 a month.
Okay.
But my rental covers for sure $15,000 a month. Am I going to get that loan?
Yeah, from a ratio perspective, yes.
Right.
So from that middle
even
question of mine, what payment do you qualify for? The answer is yes, as long as the rent meets or exceeds the mortgage obligation, meaning principal, interest, tax, insurance plus HOA.
Right.
Then you qualify for that payment. So the middle. Do you qualify from a credit perspective? Still going to analyze that. How much money do you have for your down payment? Right. Still going to analyze that. But do you qualify for the payment? Yes. So what payment do you qualify for? Whatever the rent could cover.
Now
let me just back up a second. Your question is like, this isn't the only way to do an investment property.
Right.
You can do an investment property purchase, and you can use the rent as part of that picture under traditional debt to income. So like your scenario, Jim, I could do a straight up conventional loan. Forget about the $5 million, like that puts us out of that. But let's just say it's conventional loan. I can buy an investment property. I can use the rent that the appraiser determines as the market rent as part of my picture, but I'm still doing traditional debt to income. So I'm still looking at all your other debts, looking at all your income, looking at the rental income, putting that on the I side, looking at the mortgage payment on the new home, putting that on the D side, like the debt to income, and still like you can do that. We do that all the time with multifamily, FHA multifamily. We're still doing traditional DTI. And you can use rental income, but it's not the same. DSCR, you do not look at any of the debt, any of your other debt, any of your income. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. All we look at is, does the rent cover the mortgage? And if the rent covers the mortgage, you qualify for that payment. Now, you still have to have qualifying credit, and you can't do these with low down payments, right? These are investments.
What's qualifying credit? 640?
Yeah, the higher the better. So the lower your credit on this type of loan, the worse it's going to impact your rate. There's going to be some minimum. It's probably like 680 is probably like the minimum that you would want to do. So you want to kind of be, set up from a credit perspective.
But better credit rating get you a better rate.
Yeah, I would say worse credit, worse rate. I would say it that way. Yeah, gotcha. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but if you start out with if you want the best rate, you want the highest credit possible. Down payment, you need to be looking at a minimum of 20% down, maybe even 25, depending, maybe 30%. Depending.
Can you do any assistance on that loan?
No. So these are DSCR loans are what they classify a business purpose loan.
Oh, because it's not a primary.
It is not a home that you're going to live in. It's not for your use. It's basically for business purposes. Now that doesn't mean you have to take title in an LLC or anything like that, but you're kind of saying this is not for my personal use, and that allows lenders to kind of move into a different category as it relates to federal regulations and like what's required for disclosure notices and all this stuff. It just changes a little bit. So it's business purpose. It's a very useful tool. Interest rates are not worse than they would be on investment purchases under conventional. So I would say it's similar. Maybe the costs are a little bit higher as far as like doing the loan, but the interest rates, like you could do a DSCR purchase, have a 6 in front of your interest rate. easily, right? And I would say on a conventional investment, remember interest rates are higher on conventional investments as well. You might struggle to have a 6 in front of it right now. You'd easily have a 7 in front of it on just a straight conventional investment. So it's filled a niche where, like Johnny's scenario, I know rents. I know this thing's going to cash flow, right? It's going to be cash flow positive. And as an investor, you're looking at that anyway. And now you have a loan type that kind of just fits, basically analyze it the same way. Meaning, is this thing going to cash flow on its own? We don't care about any of your other financial picture. We just want to know this property itself, is it going to cash flow? And if it's going to cash flow, then.
So do they do a traditional appraisal too, or just a rental appraisal and that's it?
So it's a traditional appraisal with rental analysis. So it's kind of stacked on top of it. So
it's another form, right? Like they do a 1007 on top of a 1004 or whatever.
Exactly right. So the traditional appraisal is form 1004, and then a rental analysis or rent income analysis is a 1007.
So if you're buying a property that's already being existing as a rental property, that's beneficial, right? Because it's kind of proving the analysis.
Here's the thing, though, and I was going to bring this up on some multis that I've dealt with. It doesn't really matter if it's rented or not right then. What matters is what is the typical rent. Because, look, everybody wants to hand me a lease. I can get, somebody to write up a lease and
a real estate agent.
And so if just because somebody tells me that the rent's $3,000 a month for this house, if everything in there rents for $2,500, I'll put in the form that the person told me they're paying $3,000 a month, but the market rent is going to be the $25,000. And where I see, like, I always thought that the best way to get a multifamily, the smartest way for the least amount of money down, is to get an FHA, use it as your primary residence, get something you like that has some ancillary rental apartments.
Yep.
So I fought really hard for a buddy of mine to buy one in downtown Lake Worth a few years ago, because the appraiser, the easiest way to write the appraisal, or the most efficient way, is, and for some statistics, a lot better for comparison. So I want to find, I'm working on a fourplex that's got a pool. Okay. So now I'm going to try to find other fourplexes that sold, hopefully that have a pool in the same area. Well, if I have the rents for those at the time it's sold, then all my data lines up real easy, right? But what I find a lot of times, and what you have to look into if you're trying to maximize the rental number, is to call or look in MLS, did those units rent at a different rate after that building was purchased? Because most people that are investors are going to go in there, maybe fix up some units, maybe not, but there's usually some long-term renters in there, and you get a higher premium from a new renter.
Right.
And they turn over. I mean, on my buddy's place, it was a ridiculous difference in the rents. I went through, called every one of these triplexes and fourplexes that the appraiser used for his appraisal. And I said, hey, you said the total rent is $2,500 for this building that sold. But now, in the intervening time period between when it sold and today, it's renting for another 50%. And so these are the rental rates you should be using, regardless of the fact that you're using that sale price.
Yeah, and I would say anytime you're buying an investment where the rental income is part of the picture, so whether that's conventional or FHA or one of these DSCR loans, you want the highest rent possible, right? Because the highest rent analysis, and we're talking about the appraiser's opinion. So yes, if a unit is occupied and existing leases are in place, those can be supplied as part of the analysis. But ultimately, we do rely on the appraiser to give us the current market rents. And sometimes you can kind of be in a bad position where if you've supplied a lease that is below market rent,
right,
the appraiser are going to say, hey, listen, it's occupied, it's leased out for, $2,500 a month right now. I think it could be $2,800. Well, you might be stuck with that $2,500 number. So you do need to be a little bit careful as far as if you're trying to maximize rent. And why would you want to maximize rent? Because it basically qualifies you for the highest payment.
Right.
Under any of the loan types, right? If I'm using the rental income as part of my either DTI or 100% of the DSCR, I want the highest rent possible.
And they don't actually have to use the place that you're buying doesn't have to be rented right then. You could use the prevailing rates.
As a matter of fact, many times, especially on purchases, because these can be done for refinances as well. So, hey, a shout out, if you have an investment property already and you're looking to refinance it, maybe you bought it cash, or maybe you're just looking to tap into the equity, DSCR, great option for that.
Huh.
And in that case, we may want to look at your history of rental, especially, and yes, this exists, especially if you've been doing short-term rentals. So like your Airbnb, your vacation rentals, things like that, that can also be used as part of the analysis.
How do you validate that? Because appraisers aren't doing that for you, are they?
Yeah, so there's outside tools for that,
Okay.
including an analysis of your income, rental income so far. So we can go back and say, okay, so show us how you performed. Give me like your year over year or whatever. There's it's many weeks of rental, but there's also tools out there that analyze rental, vacation rental.
And that's really important because like that downtown Lake Worth area is a perfect example. You can make a lot more money doing short-term rentals there. That's what my buddy's doing with the place he got. But
boost your loan amount big time.
But appraisers don't look at that. Appraisers do annual.
Yeah, and so
appraisers
are always tasked with giving us an annual rent, and that's kind of like the benchmark for any investment purchase. Is like what's the year-long lease rents look like, and that's what appraisers are doing. But it is possible to do the short-term analysis. Really helpful for refinances, possible on purchases. But to answer your question, Jim, many times on purchases, you're not relying on existing tenants. Like you're going to get in there, do what AJ said. You're going to come in, you're going to clean it up, you're going to rent it for maximum dollar based on, some sort of investment after buying.
And it's a property. I'm sorry.
No,
there was a
ahead,
property.
sorry.
I know you're going to remember. Jim had it. We talked about it for several weeks. It was a property that had like $60,000 in Airbnb bookings.
History.
It was like a $750,000 property, if I remember correctly. Like
perfect.
Really,
you even advertised it as a weekly vacation rental.
Yeah. In that scenario, you would use those bookings and you could use that as part of the equation. And at that point, you're getting a big boost in your loan amount potential, right? I mean, I just assume because you're really increasing
compared to what the annual rents would be. And that's the thing. At that point, you're really analyzing a business, and I'm not a business appraiser, right? That's why all these appraisers like me, the regular certified residentials, we don't mess around with the short-term rentals because it's not really a real estate thing; it's a business thing.
And even on these loans, there's not a lot of analysis done for how successful are you actually going to be, right? So this is not, hey, you're buying a good investment property. We think it's really going to be good. We're willing to underwrite or, back up this decision that you're making, right? It's not the lending world is as silly as it sounds. We don't really care about that. What we care about is what is the potential for rental income compared to the mortgage payment. And it seems risky, but we also require pretty big down payment, right? So you're talking 20, 25% down. Like you have to have that skin in the game.
Right.
So it becomes less risky that way. The credit requirements a little bit higher than you don't have to have minimum 680 to buy a house, right? You don't even technically, there's no minimum credit score these days, right? You still have to get automated underwriting, all this stuff. But so a little bit better credit profile, big down payment required. And we're basically saying, we think you're going to perform, like you're going to be paying your mortgage. There's not too much of a risk. Now, is it a good decision? Is it a good investment? Is it actually going to cash flow? Are you good for long-term capital expenses? Like we don't do any of that. Like that's up to you as the investor, because you are becoming a real estate investor at this point.
Yep.
Right. It's up to you to kind of figure out what metrics you need to be looking at to make sure you're making a good decision. But as far as the loan types go, I love DSCR. They've come on pretty strong in the past probably 5 years, been doing more and more of them because it's easier to qualify as long as you got the cash. Very, very appetizing for small business owners. Their tax returns aren't necessarily reflecting kind of maximum income. So it's just a loan. They got the money, they got the credit. They just need to be able to get approved for the loan.
What's your limitation to how you can utilize cash? Like, does that have to be seasoned into your account for so long?
There are seasoning requirements, but it's less strict on the business. So many small sole proprietor, small businesses, one-man shows, whatever. So they will oftentimes have a business bank statement and a personal bank statement, and they kind of run their money through their business. In my normal world, using business funds, we have to do some level of analysis. Like it's important. How much can you use? Can you pull it out? Is it going to it negatively impact your business. We just did this with Jim. He's a real estate agent, so it's, he's got money moving around kind of in various accounts. So it was complicated, but obviously we just had to source it. It's just work. With DSCR, because it's a business purpose loan, you can pretty much just use funds from your business account. You still have to source it, right? You can't have.
You got to bring the bag. You got to bring it in a leather bag instead of a brown paper bag.
yeah, exactly. Right? Like it's got to come in. And it's like, this came from. No, but we are still required to make sure that you're not laundering money and that you're not a straw buyer for somebody else. Okay, straw buyer means like, I've got the credit, I got the qualifying metrics, I just don't have the cash. John, am I doing that right? No, well, Johnny has the cash, but he doesn't have the credit. He's like, Mike, I need you to buy this home for me. I'm going to hook. We're going to
put it in your name.
Yeah. So I'm a straw buyer. I'm a fake buyer for Johnny. So we still have to.
DSCR still has that concerns though, huh? Straw buyer.
Well, so you're required, like the money laundering. So essentially, I am looking at a 60-day window of time for your deposits, and any money, whether it's business or personal, any deposits coming in, any money coming into the account, I have to say, okay, where's that coming from? Is it legitimate activity or is it something illegitimate?
Fair.
So we're still required to do that. But it's an easy loan to do, easy loan to qualify for. The only problem is, you're in this world. I'm the lender. Jim's the real estate agent. I'm going to say, hey, Jim, go find a place that's going to cash flow. Don't just bring me anything. Like, you got to know, talk to AJ, figure out what the market rents are going to be.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk about.
And this is the scenario you came up against.
So recently, Chris put somebody under contract down in Hollywood, and Chris Peterson on my team. And he's doing a DSCR loan. The building, because it's right on the beach, is doing concrete restoration, and there's more than one building in there. So
it's a condo?
Yeah.
It's a DSCR non-warrantable condo.
And
nice.
And the condo part that his buyer is buying in is being restored right now. So a lot of rat-a-tat-tat with the jackhammers and all that. Ocean views being blocked with visqueen and stuff like that right now. It's a mess. So the rental rates over there, even though they're all the same, is between let's say, I'm making up numbers here, but $2,500 a month, all the way up to $5,000 a month.
Ooh.
And they all pulled in the numbers for the appraisal on the lower end of those numbers. And he needed to be not in the top end, but the middle end in order to make the numbers work. So now we're pretty far off from the mortgage payment versus the prevailing rent, according to the appraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is wondering that they're only using the lower numbers, but they have all these higher numbers that they just ignored, and they're the same exact unit.
Oh, I've been waiting for the opportunity to say something, which is like I've been thinking about the whole time we're talking. So that 1007 rent form, right?
Yeah.
The appraiser's getting paid maybe $100, maybe $150 for that. If you're a realtor involved in one of these things, do your own analysis and put together a package on the rentals for the realtor or for the appraiser, because it's human nature. They're going to do the easiest thing, the quickest thing, the most efficient thing. They're not in it necessarily to have look. I literally could spend a month appraising a home that takes me 2 days to appraise. If I sat there and went into every single myopic detail of everything. So there's always a trade-off of just, I can only get done what I can get done in a business day. So if you've got some weird situations going on, especially a condo like that, my God, when those jackhammers are going, they go all the way down the building like it's vertebrae in a back.
Yeah.
Like I've been in the 4th floor and they're working on the roof 20 stories up, and it sounds like they're next to me.
I would think that's more of a problem than the rent. So it sounds like you're saying, AJ, so sometimes appraisers don't appreciate overzealous real estate agents coming in with a bunch of information regarding the appraised value, the value of the home, right? Because that's your bread and butter. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, I don't know. I don't need a real estate agent telling me what this home is worth, and especially giving me comps that aren't really comps. Like, they're just not.
Yeah.
You pull the biggest values. I got to pull like comparable data, right? But it sounds like you're saying when it comes to the rental analysis, some appraisers will appreciate a little bit of extra information there
I
because
appreciate
it's
all
not
of it.
your wheelhouse.
The guys that, the guys that act like somebody's being a jerk by bringing them comps or giving them information, that's nuts to me. The problem is, like, I went into a house last week and the owner was an agent and he was just like immediately like expressing opinions about the value and the market and the like very strong and kind of aggressive. That's not good.
Right.
But if you give me a folder and you write up a nice little letter cover page, look, I know you know what you're doing. One of the best, I still remember the property. One of the best ones I ever got from a realtor was she just handed me a folder. And I went, when I got back to my office, I sat down and looked. I had some of the same comps, but she gave me relevant insider information about every property because she farmed that neighborhood. She knew it.
Yeah.
She said, look, you're going to see this sale. It's not obvious from the pictures, but it actually had termites or, anytime somebody gives you that detail. But when you're at the appraisal and it's 100 degrees out, the humidity's 99 and I'm sweating and I've got another appointment in 30 minutes, I don't want to sit there and go over all that myopic detail. But if you hand me a folder, give me a cover letter, give me some comps, give me good information. Yes, there's you'll see some high rentals and some low rentals in the neighborhood. I'd like to point out these 5 are the same model. Give me the realtor's phone number right. They're just normal human life stuff. Make it easy for me. Give me phone numbers. Give me relevant information. Nobody should get upset by that. Now, having said that, I'm a realtor too. We don't talk about it here. I don't do much of it. I've had an appraiser that I handed something that they're just jerks, and just, I don't want to hear this or,
Was that a VA appraiser?
I ran into him again not too long ago either.
Oh, man.
No, they're out there. There's bad ones out there.
Oh, yeah. You want to take this phone call?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take the phone call.
Excellent. Who we got there patiently waiting, Jimothy?
We have Adam on the line, and he wants to talk about the DSCR loans. He has a personal situation regarding it. Adam, welcome to Florida Talk Real Estate.
Hi, Adam.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good, man. What's going on?
Good.
Hey, listened to you guys a long time, and got to say, shout out to Johnny C. You're one of my original favorites, or almost original from ZZR days. But so
cool, man. Thank you.
I got a personal situation. I own, my wife, soon to be ex-wife, own a triplex in Washington State. We own it outright. 2 units are rented. It's currently up for sale. Obviously, it hasn't sold yet, but I'm also interested in looking to buy her side out. I'm retired, so I don't have any income. So this sounds like a pretty good option. The Zestimate, no, I'm joking. It's currently listed for it's currently listed for $530,000. I own, my portion is $329,000. So you're basically saying I could get a loan to cover, I would owe my soon to be ex $150,000. So I'd need a loan for $150,000. So I guess what I'm hearing is this is a pretty good option for me to look at.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if you want to buy her out, so you're not going to sell it, it's going to not be actively listed. That would be, if you're trying to do the loan, so you're going to have to pull it off the market. But that's definitely an opportunity. So you got plenty of equity. So as far as like the down payment requirement, 20, 25%, you're doing a refinance. So as long as you have that much in equity position, you're good. So it sounds like you're there. And all you really need is for the market rents to cover the mortgage payment on that $150,000 loan
on the refi.
And so it sounds like it's going to be kind of slam dunk.
Yeah, pretty easy, right?
Pretty slam dunk.
With the triplex.
Now you just got to find somebody that can do DSCR in Washington State.
I was wondering about that.
I might be able to. I'm looking right now, but so the thing was with the DSCR, so the business purpose loan, so the rules are different. So you don't necessarily have to be licensed in the individual state in order to do the loan.
Really?
So yeah.
So what states are you licensed in? It's Florida,
Georgia, South
Virginia.
Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia,
Okay,
Colorado.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
But potentially this may not. You may be able to do this anyway.
So depending on the state, so it kind of depends on whether the state allows it or not. It's possible that I could do it. If I can't do it, I'm sure there are people who are doing DSCR in Washington.
Oh, for sure.
That you could talk to any lender that operates there. But I could take a crack at it, and I could certainly talk to you about it and kind of give you some pointers what to expect. But yeah, it's pretty slam dunk. And then I think the only challenge is going to be, making sure that the buyout number is sufficient and people walk away, happy.
Yeah, you don't have.
Because selling it is one thing. Like, we're going to sell this thing, but
is she going to be okay in her head knowing that you're going to be able to keep this thing and the rent? Like, is she going to be vindictive and be like, no, screw that,
and it's
you're
going to be worth
selling it.
more in 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to pry into your scenario, but that could be a situation that just blows up because she's like, nope.
No, she would actually probably drop down the 150 grand to do it. It's an amicable divorce, if there is such a thing.
Yeah. Usually it doesn't end bad. It doesn't end, but I'm glad to know that it's going well for you.
So, yeah, I would say give Jimothy your number or your information if you already have it. Let's take a look at it. I'll verify if I even have an opportunity to do it, but at the very least we could talk about it. And I would say that's a really good option, and it should be pretty easy to do.
Oh,
pretty
I think
easy to do.
That's worthy time spent, Adam, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's fine because I'm actually on my way driving out there now. I'm just left. I live near Ocala, Florida, but driving that way now.
That's a nice drive.
Plenty of time to talk.
I love going across the United States. Are you stopping by a bunch of places, or are you just hauling butt to get to Washington?
Well, I'm stopping in North Carolina. Then I'm hauling butt, but hopefully on the way back, depending on what goes on with the property, I may take my time, take an I-90 across the northern states, that sort of thing. So
very cool.
Yeah,
that's how you get to my dad's house.
You're going to North Carolina before going to Washington. Well, you got some miles ahead of you, huh?
Yeah, I'm right now in traffic in Georgia. 95.
Good times.
So you're listening on the iHeartMedia app then?
Well, actually, I listened on YouTube quite a bit. But yeah, I do listen on iHeart also. But that's where I texted Jimothy and got the number because I've been listening since 91 and can never remember the darn number. So
yeah, I've been listening around that long. That's about when there was a hurricane around the early 90s, and that's how I found out about the Love Doctors.
I still have the number saved as Love Docs.
The docs, baby.
Yeah.
The docs.
Yeah.
Adam, we appreciate the loyalty over all these years. That's amazing. Thank you very much. And thanks for continuing to listen on a Saturday, trusting the team. Be some worthy information for you. And it sounds like it might have been a great time for you to be listening today.
It sounds like we got
they might really change your arc and your future on that property. Yeah.
No, listen, every Saturday, guys. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Appreciate you. You be safe out there. And I guess we'll be in touch with you here shortly. You got his information, Jim?
I do, yes.
Awesome.
I just wanted to go back to ask one more question about this DSCR and when the rents don't appraise, right? So one of the things I told Chris is like, hey, you got to be out at that appraisal, right? And usually what happens is in real life, the mortgage company orders the appraisal. The appraiser calls the listing agent, not the buyer's agent. And then the listing agent gets them into the house. And a lot of times the buyer's agent aren't there for the appraisal. And usually we don't be there when we're the buyer's agent. We're usually not there for the appraisal. But on these kind of things, you kind of want to be there because you want to talk to them and try to make your best case. And we didn't have a chance to do that because by the time I told Chris that, the listing agent didn't tell us that the appraisal had already been scheduled and it happened before we found out. And now we got this problem.
So when you're doing the DSCR, you want a DSCR ratio of 1, right? Meaning it's just a fraction, right? So you put the rent divided into the mortgage, the rent over the mortgage. And if that's 1 or higher, you're good. So if the rent is equal to or higher than the mortgage payment, you're good. If it's below it, now you're not out of the game yet. Depends on how far below you are. So there's probably options, Jim, if you're in like the 0.85, right? So where like the rent is 85% of the mortgage payment, you might have some options. So I'd be curious
you say options, would that just mean larger down payment to get the mortgage payment lower?
Or a higher interest rate. So maybe a combination of larger down payment and a higher interest rate, right? A little bit of a penalty because you're not really cash flowing like they would like. But
so there's still ways maybe around it possibly.
It depends on how low you are. Do you happen to know what the ratio was?
I don't really want to say it on the air right now.
Was it 0.5? So half?
Well, actually, I don't know how much their mortgage payment was, so I can't really tell you. I know what the rental rates were, the range of the rental rates, but I don't know what the mortgage payment was they were trying to shoot for.
Are you trying to protect that, or can you give me some info? Like, what's the loan amount? What's the purchase price?
I don't even, I got to be honest with you, because I didn't work the case. I'm just helping. I'm helping Chris, but I don't have all the numbers.
It's in Dade County.
I'm probably going to say that the payment was around $3,200 a month is what they wanted to hit, but they were at like $2,500 or $2,600 a month.
But you said, so there's a big spread on these rents, low end to high end, and they used all the lows.
$5,000 a month that are right now.
Well, the big question then is why? Is it, you really got to figure that out.
Right.
Even an appraiser that's in a big rush is going to try to figure out why there's some at 27 and some at 5.
At 5 in the same building.
Yeah, it's probably view. It's probably, but what Chris could do be to interview every one of those agents. And then ask all the low ones, hey, you look like you rented on the low end. Can you tell me why? And then ask all the ones that are on the high end. You looked at like you're on the high end. Why? And then take that information and match that to your unit.
Yeah.
Now, I would say it's a difficult task to get a reconsideration of rental
harder
analysis on a DSCR. And the reason is, so the mortgage firm, the company I work for, we're a direct lender, right? So when it comes to all the conforming loan types, FHA, VA, Fannie, Freddie, we're doing those in-house. I do have some DSCR channels that I would consider in-house, meaning we underwrite them. But there's it's called like a delegated underwrite. So we're essentially the wholesaler, these wholesalers that are doing the DSCR loans, they defer the analysis, the underwrite analysis to us. But there's a lot of times where I'm acting as like a broker, essentially. So when we get to these non-conforming alternative income, which includes DSCR, but also things like a bank statement analysis for income or a P&L for income, like just something that's out of the conforming world, I kind of act like a broker. And then when that's the case, you realize the advantages of working with a direct lender. I can call my underwriting boss, the boss in underwriting, and get her on the phone in 2 seconds, right? She'll pick up when I call. We have some spirited discussions from time to time, right? But this is the boss in underwriting. Basically, the decision, the buck stops with her as far as that goes. With these broker channels, I don't have anywhere near that type of access to discuss hairiness or complications. And some of them will not allow you to do any reconsideration of value whatsoever on appraisal. Why? Because they're like, no, we're not giving you an opportunity to manipulate this. We've basically got a clean hands appraisal. Nobody's talked about anything. Nobody's gone back and this is the numbers, guys. We're not moving off of this. Now we may have an option. I just did your analysis, Jim. So if you're like 0.78, right? So 2,500 into 3,200. Is there an option at 0.78? Maybe. So you could salvage the deal, but it's going to be higher interest. Now, frankly, if I was an investor and I'm going to be cash flow negative on a property, I'm thinking to myself, is this,
is this something
I really was? Is this a good investment?
Right.
Non-warrantable condo where my rent's not going to cover the mortgage payment? Is that really what I want to do?
Right.
And it's always better with appraisals, no matter what type of loan or situation or anything, to make your case up front, because those reconsiderations require somebody to be wrong, to have been wrong.
Yes.
Nobody misinformation. I mean, it's inevitable. Real estate agents, when a number comes in low, whatever it is, it's kind of messing with your deal. the default is that appraiser has no idea what they're doing. Like, how did they
Right.
miss this? We've got rents at 5,000 in this building. How are they only giving us 2,500, right? And I try to tell, I said, listen, you have to, the default position is the appraiser does know what they're doing. They are professional, and you need to come up with some analysis for what they missed.
Yeah, it's got to be a really good argument.
They either missed comps, like they didn't use the appropriate comps, or they made mistakes, which is not unheard of, but maybe the square footage was wrong, or maybe they adjusted for something more or less than they should have.
That multifamily in Lake Worth that my buddy bought, I was an agent on that. I wrote a reconsideration of value for the rents.
Yeah.
Specifically. And I told that guy before he came out, just pay attention to the rents. I'm not worried about the price on the house. I'm worried about the rents. I want you to make sure it matters. And that's where I had to go around and call and get all those rentals that had occurred after it had sold, but before the date of the report. And I wrote such a good reconsideration of value. The head of the appraising department at the lender called me this is for an FHA loan.
Yeah.
And he goes, so how long have you been appraising? It was the first thing he said, even though, I didn't write anything about being an appraiser in my thing. It's all,
he could tell.
Yeah. He goes, look, I can see what you did here. You got some good points.
We've done those. Rare. We've done those FHA multifamily through the years as a really, especially like, I think there's a certain segment that makes sense because you do need to occupy one of the units. And usually those units are not like for families, right? So if you're like single, young, kind of getting started, that multifamily FHA, VA, I always loved that. I was like, if you could pull this off. Now we did get to a point where we were priced out, right? So those multifamily units became so expensive that the rent wasn't doing what it needed to do as far as qualifying. And it's really critical on FHA and VA because you're not allowed to use 100% of the rent. It's 75%. You can't use, it's only the units you're not occupying. There's a self-sufficiency rule with FHA, so it's difficult. Conventional in the past couple of years made it so you could do multifamily with low down payment, 5% down, which you always had to do like 20 before. So that they opened that up. But then DSCR has come into the picture, and DSCR really has taken over that segment. Just because it's just so easier to do, and I don't have to look at any of your other debts and any other other income.
Oh,
so it's much easier to get approved
for the right client, like the guy that just called in. I mean, that's perfect.
He's going to be able to do that, and if he wants to, he can buy out his wife's interest. He's like slam dunk.
Yeah,
gonna work.
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
Really good. And Adam, thank you for calling, and thank you for being such a long time listener, and even listening to us while he's traveling across the country. Is that awesome?
Gotta love that.
Did we just do 45 minutes on DSCR?
We might have done 45 minutes on DSCR, but it's an important thing because a lot more people are using it, and it is a really good opportunity for people that are buying that second property right now.
So now we've finished the class. Johnny, what's DSCR?
It's a loan product.
Yeah. What are the key components?
Key component is that you're going to be utilizing the rental income to qualify for the property. You need the rental income to pay for your mortgage obligation.
That's right.
And that's pretty good.
As long as you got the credit, as long as you got the cash, does the rent cover the mortgage?
That's it.
Yeah. And if the rent covers the mortgage, you're in like
Flynn.
Yep. Yeah. I like that movie. I'm going to remember debt service coverage ratio now. I'm finally going to memorize
it. I won't. I'll forget that before I get in my car.
I can't remember if it was DCSR.
The best thing is, like, Jim has, as a real estate investor through the years, he has used debt service. Like, he knows exactly what that means. Like, it's in his vocabulary. He knows what a debt service is. He's calculated debt service on many a property.
Yes.
That's all you got to remember is debt service, and then the rest should come together.
Yeah, but I kept thinking it was documents, something
debt service, Costa Rica.
Service. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I wanted to go over, I thought it was kind of interesting. I haven't asked her yet, and I really need her to come on, Dorothy Jackson, have her come on again. I really want to talk about assessed value versus market value and how they figure all that out and everything.
She's a property appraiser here.
Yeah, the property appraiser. Yeah. I'm sorry. And Dorothy has been in the news so much lately because of this whole elimination of property taxes potential, the vote coming up in November. And she's been out there. A lot of the property appraisers have been out there trying to educate people. Most of them are saying this: I'm staying neutral on this subject. I'm just a numbers person. but I can tell you, based the person that's calculating the numbers of how much money is going to be collected on the millage rates and everything, this is how these changes would affect the city and the local government and how they raise money and how they spend money. But one of the things I always interesting is people go and look at the property appraiser site to determine the value of their home. And usually that number is historically low. In my mind, it's usually somewhere between 25% and 40% lower than what the property is actually worth. But then you have an appraisal number, right? So when an appraiser comes out, they give us your number where it's worth. Then you have the listing agent. The listing agent comes up with the number that they put on the market because they think that's what it's worth. And all those three numbers can be very widely varianced between it all. And I just thought it was kind of interesting that there was an article that came out about Zestimates, which is a whole nother thing. And what really piqued my interest about this is people that owned homes that weren't for sale, weren't going up for sale, were freaked out that their Zestimate was inaccurate. And they were actually going to their government agency, like the property appraiser here
Tell
in
them to
Florida,
get it right.
and tell them that they don't use that
Were they high
Zestimate
or
number.
or both?
It was actually both. Some of them were complaining that their Zestimate was too low, and some of them were complaining the Zestimate was too
inaccurate.
High.
I mean, you know what? This is pretty simple in my view. Like AJ is professional, certified, experienced. What's the name of his company?
ExperienceAppraisers.com.
It's even in the name.
Yeah.
AJ, do you ever look at either the property appraiser's market value or the Zestimate or other website estimating tools? Do you ever look at those as part of your analysis?
I've never looked at Zillow for that purpose. Very occasionally, I will look at the tax record, but not
for value.
More of for comparison, maybe with different, for different purposes. But I don't go in there and go, oh, I wonder what the county says it's worth.
Right.
Because there's so many different reasons why that number could be far off. It's what's called a mass appraisal. Nobody from the county, or not really, they're not looking at your property, not for more than 5 minutes, maybe, or whatever. I mean, Dorothy would know better than me, obviously, but
she's got people for that.
Well, and I know some of those people. I mean, I've worked with some of those people I've been doing this since before air conditioning, right, Jim? So, but that what they usually do, they can't look individually. I mean, imagine the math. How many properties are in this county? So they do neighborhoods at a time. They do swaths of property at a time. So it's inherently going to be inaccurate. Just like I was saying earlier, that I could spend a month looking at one property if I hyper analyzed it. They're looking at it for 5 minutes. I'm looking at it for 2 days. The realtor's looking at it for a day or two. Zillow's looking at it for 5 seconds.
And they're also kind of the main thing that I think they're doing year over year, Jim, is like what in this neighborhood or this street or whatever it is, like how much is it appreciated or depreciated from last year? And then they kind of like establish some benchmark, like they're
it's all
here was
modeling.
the value
in
2020 when we did a real in-depth analysis. And since then, this area went up 3.3%. Boom. This area went up, whatever. And so they're just kind of like, how often are they revisiting the same thing an appraiser would do? And I just know this also, reality check. The sales price, the home that the price that you could buy a home for is always higher than the market value by substantially higher, substantially different.
For one thing, they don't want everybody in the world challenging them, right? Again, how many properties are in the county? If you're too close, 10,000 people are going to come and do a petition to have their taxes lowered because you were, off. As it is, I still get several calls a year from people that just paid $4 million for a house. And they said the tax assessor's got it at 3.8 or 3.5, and I want to fight it. Well, how do you want me to fight that? Do you want me to tell them you're an idiot and you paid too much? Like, I don't understand.
Or do you want your value higher so your taxes is that what you're trying to get higher taxes?
Right. I mean,
right.
And I've literally, this is a quote. I've had people call or, tell me after I write, especially for a divorce or something where it's contentious. Hey, you appraised this for $800,000 and Zillow said it's $900,000 and I'd like to know what you did wrong. Okay. Well, a few things. Did you read my report? Answer 99% of the time is no.
Well, there's so much,
there's
so much in there.
And then the second answer is I don't know, because nobody knows how Zillow came up with that number. I've actually had an attorney bring a Zillow number in to try to challenge my appraisal in a divorce in a court case.
Yeah, because as a someone who has to split an asset,
right?
I want that thing to be, especially if I'm buying out the other party, I want a low number.
Right.
If I'm being the one being bought out, I want a super high number.
But just bringing in a computer generated number for a home in the acreage.
Well, what did the judge say?
Well, it wasn't really like that. It was more of, in the end, what was the result? They went with my number. Yeah. I mean, come on, they there was a lot of reasons why, but some of the stats that I gleefully brought to court that day, because I knew they were going to do it. Just a couple of fun facts here. Did you know that the former Zillow CEO sold his house? His house was estimated by Zillow at $1.75 million. What do you think he sold it for?
$900,000.
Oh, I was gonna say like 1.5.
Yeah, million.
1.05.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, at 40% below their estimate.
Well, they had to get rid of it.
And
he was motivated.
And they used a realtor. He ended up hiring a realtor to do it because at first it was for sale by owner.
That was 10 years ago.
And
too.
then and then I remember that was always a big thing. What other sets did you?
My other fun fact from them is when they tried to start doing flipping off of their own algorithm.
Yeah.
And going in. So in one quarter, the third quarter of 2021, how much money do you think they lost that quarter?
Oh, I forget.
Was it intentional though? I think they were intentionally. They had to
offload all the stuff that they bought that they paid too much.
I think it was like 400 million.
420.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
420, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
But they owned 7,000 houses. Yeah. But I remember because they started buying out in Wellington.
Ross bought one. Ross got Zillow to take a loss on a home that he bought.
Right. Because when they pulled out, they were done and they left, But I remember, because, I'm an independent appraiser. I'm a one-man operation, and I know a lot of guys that are like me. And we started calling each other and going, hey, are you seeing these sales? Because they were, almost none of them made sense. On the low end or the high end, it was just, so we all collectively just started throwing them out as comps. Just, if you see Zillow on there, just forget it. Because it's not rational.
I got people in contract now. They're buying from Open Doors, kind of like another, I guess they're like, we'll guarantee you sell your home.
Well, they'll buy it.
Aren't they? Yeah. They basically want to list it, and then if they don't sell in a certain time, they'll buy it, and then they'll say it. But they're selling it for $10,000 less than they paid for it. Now,
but they make up for it.
They had some deal with the previous owners. Like I'm sure they're still making money, but that was one of those where they're basically selling it for less. And the underwriter was like, "Hey, why is that? What's going on there?" I'm like, "Well, this is their business model."
But see, that's the thing. And I think what it is you're dealing with such big volume and such large numbers, right? So Zillow can say, "Hey," that like their numbers, they'll say, "Okay, our median values are within 5% of the sales but their median value is 50% of the time. So if you're the 10% of the time where they're 40% off and you try to make any kind of decision based on that information."
So what's the best way to get a real value current? Like, let's say you're considering selling, Jim. Like, am I going to Zillow to get an idea? What do I do?
It isn't even a talking point. I wouldn't waste my time with the Zillow thing, to be honest with you. You got to talk to an agent, and then sometimes you need the appraiser.
And it's not just Zillow. There's like 5 models out there, and there is the county. The county's usually low, but it's not 50% low.
So it's nice to have an agent who actually has an appraiser, a qualified appraiser that they could call.
Yeah, that would be nice to have.
Yeah, it does sounds like a luxury.
That sounds like
I got a hub for you. You need pros. When you're doing anything that touches the world of real estate, these are big deals. You need good representation, people you can depend on, give you good information so you can make the right decision for you and yours. Buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. Anything that touches the world of real estate, remember FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Know it, use it, love it, share it, change lives, including your very own, with the pros of FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Like MIke Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Have a great weekend, my friend.
You too. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for all the good information always.
Boom.
Like AJ Hollman with Experienced Appraisers.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Always appreciate you. And thanks for your insight always. And Jim DePolo with the Florida Home Pros team. Keller Williams Innovations. You're the best. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy South Florida, everybody. Have a good weekend.
If you are on Facebook and YouTube, thank you very much for being there. If you're like, what? You're on Facebook and YouTube? Yeah, check it out always. Go check it out. And remember, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Jimothy, thank you for everything always, my dude. You're the best.
Thanks, Johnny, AJ, Mike, Jim. Always a pleasure to be with you guys on a Saturday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You as well, my friend. I invite you to stick around. Locker room. I got Greek in the bullpen. We're going to squeeze out a sports show for you. And always remember, Florida Talk Real Estate. We bring you 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday, 9 to 11. We'll do it again next week right here on Real Radio.